So good morning, everyone. So for purposes of the ones watching on the replay, we've got a little camera technology issue this morning. So we're going to go with a podcast session. So everybody's video is turned off, everybody's sound's turned off, and including mine because my camera's not working. So yeah, just so that for all of you guys that are watching on the replay. So Happy New Year to you all, and I hope you've all had an amazing festive period. I really can't believe that it's actually the 14th of January. It feels like March already. It was 2 weeks ago was New Year, and it really does feel like a lifetime ago, which is totally bizarre for me, but I think this is basically how I feel the energies are working at the moment. It seems to be that everything's speeding up because we're experiencing a lot of frequency accretion, but at the same time, on the flip side of that, everything's just seems to be going on a really slow space as well. So it's really interesting to be having this accelerator timeline and this really slow time warp timeline at the same time. So just a little bit to introduce the program. So as I've mentioned in the message in the group, my intention is to work through and do these sessions in my membership portal. The reason I chose to, in the first instance, to go live in the group was because I've also got an issue. The plugin just suddenly stopped working, the subscription plugin, the membership plugin. So people can sign up and people can log in, but I can't access and send the member portal. I can't attach the membership portal to your login accounts. Again, possibly a Mercury retrograde issue, because last week it was working perfectly fine and people were telling me that they could already access the portal for those that looked, but this week it's just suddenly not working. So I've actually got a web developer on that, working on that. So hopefully that should be rectified by next week. And I'm having to create a completely separate website with just this membership portal by itself. So again, I'll post information about that later. So that was just a little bit of an update about that. So the idea is that eventually everything will be in the login portal, because I do want to start to disconnect myself from doing things on social media, because we're just having constant censorships and things like this. So I want to have my own portal, which is why I'm doing this membership. So the vision for this academy is to help, healers and way showers, paradigm shifters, to embody the transformation that they're actually selling to their clients, so that they can actually express themselves authentically and be authentic in what they're sharing, and be embodied in what they're actually sharing. Because when we are embodied and we are actively walking our path and practicing what we preach, then we are, of course, that authenticity shines through organically into everything that we do, from a simple thing like posting on social media, to talking to people, communicating with people, and people actually seeing an image of us. That frequency shines through. So if we're posting and advertising from a place of desperation, for example, whatever we're doing, whatever marketing we're doing, then that desperation comes through, the energy comes through into what we're actually doing. And people can feel that energy, so they will just tap out of you and look at something else or look for somebody else. And on the flip side of that is when we're not walking our path and we're not the embodiment of what we're actually selling, gifting, offering, we're not expressing our authentic truth, we're not being our authentic self, then of course we can start projecting imposter syndrome, and also comparison syndrome, because as a result of imposter syndrome, as feeling like that we're not being, genuine, or feeling the imposter syndrome comes with many negative side effects, such as not being good enough and having the fears of being seen because we're not feeling like we're really deeply embodied and authentic. And so that can come across to our clients as well, but also for ourselves, we start to compare. So we go into the comparison syndrome as well, and then we start to compare ourselves to others. We start to plagiarize what other people are doing, and it's not coming from our own authentic self. It's what we're doing, what we're sharing, what we're offering. We're not being our authentic self, and this is not just in our role as a healer, it's everything that we do in our daily lives, our daily interactions, because our friends and family, our loved ones, our partners, business partners, clients, everybody, people can feel. We're very sensitive. We're all empaths. This is one thing that we humans have, that we have empathy, because we have heart consciousness, and some of us are more empathic, than others. As healers, we tend to be HSPs, highly sensitive people, and so we are super empathic. But everybody can feel. Energy is transferable. People resonate with our energy, and when we're not living our authentic truth, we're not being our authentic self, then we will attract that same like resonance, because the law of resonance determines how frequency works, how energy works. And I know I'm not going to tell you anything that none of you already know on this throughout this program, because you already know this, but what you might receive is some nice little reminders. You may learn things and techniques, because I'm going to be going deeper through the program. So it's going to be half learning content and half journey content. So the content is high frequency content, so you will actually receive energy and transferences and transformations and things through the actual frequency of the content, because I have got to the point where I have embodied 12D frequencies. And I'm not saying this to gloat in any way, because I have worked really hard on myself, and this is the frequency that I put into all of my work. So I know those of you, there's quite a few of you here who've worked with me already on my practitioner trainings and done my alchemy programs, and so people that have worked with me before know how I work and the high frequency of the work that I do. And that's why I guess you guys are here again, because you receive transformation and benefit from what I'm doing. So I hope that everybody who's new, that hasn't worked with me, that I recommend that you give this program 3, 4 to 6 months at least, because you will receive transformation benefits. And then what I will, just to reiterate, everybody will receive what they're ready to receive. Ultimately, my goal is to help to bring people back into spiritual homeostasis, a state of natural balance and harmony in alignment with natural law and universal law. And my intention for this portal, this program, is to help you to create the reality that you want to create for yourself over this next 12 months. So the focus is over this next 12 months. So each session we will build upon the previous session. So we're creating, from the foundation up, and we're creating with more clarity what it is that we actually want to create. So we're going to be going throughout this program, we're going to be going through many clearings, and it's all based on the Akashic records, working through our own Akashic records. We're going to be doing clearing, reprogramming, activations, attunements, anchoring codes in, so that you can all achieve what you want to achieve by the end of this year. And I know some of you will have set your manifestations for earlier, but just in general, that by the end of this year that you are actually living, you're the living embodiment of the reality that you want to create for yourself right now. And I know for some people, not everybody's a healer. Some of you are just deep in your own path, and you've got visions of being a healer. You want to help people. But again, we are all healers anyway. And when we embody our own inner work processes and we do our own shadow work, we are healing people around us anyway. Like I said, whether you're an active, healer, and you have clients or not, when we change our own vibration and do our own work, obviously we are healing the people around us, our family, our loved ones, our children, and of course everybody in our environment, the collective consciousness. Because again, coming back to the law of resonance, we have got the capacity to lift people up to our frequency rather than allowing ourselves to be pulled down to frequency. So if we can keep ourselves in a homeostatic high frequency, in just this constant state of homeostasis, then it will be very hard for people to pull us down to their frequency. Rather, we will lift them up. And we've all been in situations where we've been in the company of somebody who's been really low vibration, and they have pulled us down because our spiritual immune system has perhaps been weak. You know, we're not in a natural balance ourselves. There might be some nervous system dysregulation, but we've lowered ourselves to their frequency. And then after, we've just, I need to go home, I feel so drained. We've all experienced this. But on the flip side, we've all experienced the opposite, where we've been with people who felt low, and after you've had your meeting with them, even if it's just a coffee, a dinner, they've actually said to you, wow, I feel so much better. Like, you are just a light in my life. You just light up my life, my frequency. I just feel so much better in your company. So what we want to do is bring ourselves into that constant state of, so we're actually embodying our healer role, even when we're not healing people, when we're not actually having clients. Because ultimately what my role is in this lifetime now, my purpose has changed, but my purpose now in this lifetime is to help to heal the collective, which is what most of you guys are. We all want to help humanity and raise the consciousness of the planet, and we all want everybody to be living in harmony and fairness. And so this is what we're aiming to do. But ultimately, we need to do that work for ourselves first, and then of course we can shine that light out into the collective for people to attract to us. So we need to get crystal clear on what you want to invite in. And one thing I do recommend is, if for those of you who are healers, is to have a clear vision of the clients that you want to work with as well. Because when we have that clear vision of the clients we want to work with, it will help us to attract those clients, because we're sending that frequency and that intention outward. And it's it's really powerful to have that clarity for the universe, for the law of resonance, to be able to send the right people to us, because people will find us if we are vibrating on that like frequency. But again, ultimately, it's important that we are the living embodiment of what we're actually selling, and that means walking our talk. So if you're a yoga teacher, for example, and you're not actually practicing daily yoga, then you're just teaching when you teach, but you're not doing any yoga or meditation, then you're not really the living embodiment, because you're not doing your own practice. So that's what I mean when I say being the living embodiment. If you're a Reiki healer and you're not doing daily Reiki on yourself, but you're just doing the Reiki when you get a client, then you're not living, you're not the embodiment of what you're doing, because you're literally just the Reiki. It's become, and I've been there, so I totally know that it's just become a job. And then we can start to feel that energy of the job that can start to switch us off into another realm that can attract this low frequency energy. So it's ultimately our role is, we want to help people. The money side of it should come last. However, we need to all make a living doing what we do. So it's also when we can just anchor in the frequency of what we're doing and be that. And that doesn't mean to say we have to, you know, do a 2-hour yoga class every day, or a 90-minute Reiki session, or a 1-hour Reiki session, even if it's just 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day of just that you're keeping yourself in this homeostasis and this balance, so you're experiencing your own processes, so that you can actually share your processes with your clients, then they will actually listen to you. So that's what I mean by that. Then what I want to just bring into the energy before we start going into everything is we only allow in to our field, into our reality, what we feel safe to allow in. And sometimes we can have grand ideas, but if that doesn't feel safe on a cellular level or a subconscious level, then we can block. We will block this this manifestation, this intention. So we can have a particular idea or a vision or a goal, but if the inner child consciousness, which is basically how our ego identity is shaped, our ego identity is shaped from the womb, well, just from our childhood. It's a development over the years, and our ego identity is the part of us that keeps us safe, and it's the part of us that has been wounded. I'm not going to go into the dynamics of the ego consciousness right now. I will do it on another session, because it's really interesting when we can understand the mechanics, and I know some of you will already. But when the ego feels threatened, then we sabotage. So whatever it is that you're wanting to invite in, whether it's a higher monthly income, whether it's unconditional love, a life partner, whether it's being seen, putting yourself out there publicly, doing videos, public speaking, whatever it is, if there's a part of you that doesn't feel safe doing any of that, then you will sabotage what you sabotage. So again, we only allow in what we feel safe to allow in. So now it's about healing the wounded parts of us, so that we can allow in what we actually want to allow in and invite into our reality field. And to do that, we need to go into the shadows and into the traumas, and again, not to relive the traumas, but we can go into the shadow parts, the beliefs and the fears and all the inherited stuff, which we'll be going into throughout the program. We'll be going into some ancestral stuff and what we're inheriting from the collective, and we will be working on healing and clearing all that, and trying to help to clear the fears and the beliefs, and bringing the nervous system back into regulation, so that you can allow in what it is that you need to, that you want, that you desire, and you can anchor your higher timeline reality into your reality field, so you can create this higher reality field. And when we create higher reality fields, then what we're doing is we're collapsing the old timeline stories, all of the old stories that we're still coded to. We've coded ourselves to specific stories, especially when we've not processed the energy of a particular story, a particular experience. We code ourselves to these past stories, because ultimately what we experience within that story, we very likely created an implant or an energetic structure. These codes they're energetic structures that we create to keep us safe, that we can kind of hide ourselves behind. So for example, a heart wall is an implant, and we create it, we've placed it there to protect the heart, to protect us from being hurt. So we have to recognize all of this and collapse the implants that we've created. So again, we'll be going into all of this through the program as well. And so you will learn things not only for yourself, but if you're a healer, then you might learn techniques that you can integrate into your own healing practices and things. So yeah, it's really, really important that we do the shadow work. And I know that a lot of you on here are doing this already, and that you're really invested in clearing your own blocks and limitations. But it's an ongoing process. We're constantly up against external interferences and intrusions and black magic, you know, all the signs that we see when we're riding the tube or a bus or a train, or we're walking around a city and we see all these signposts and billboards. They're just projecting black magic out into the reality field, and this is going into our subconscious, because of course every time we look at something, it's like the brain's taking, the eyes are taking a snapshot, and that's going into the subconscious. So it's really subtle mind control program, and it's very clever. So we have to really be aware of what we're actually looking at, what we're actually speaking, our internal thought processes, how we talk to ourselves. You know, when we use the word, you know, I'm really suffering from a cold, like, you know, just change the vibration of that. You're not suffering, you're experiencing a cold, and you are healing from the cold. So again, it's just about little changes that we can make that will help us to transform frequency. Because again, when we're saying, oh, you know, I feel like I'm being attacked by somebody, or I'm being attacked by, you know, or I feel like you're attacking me, or you're attacking me, again, it's just being really mindful of the language and the words that we're using. And I still do it, but when I do it, I recognize, oh, okay, and then I revoke it immediately. Cancel what I just said, revoke what I just said, and I'll just override it with a new statement, with a new higher frequency statement. Like again, so I've just had a really bad neck for the last 2 days, and I couldn't turn. And I was really mindful that last night my friend advised me, and this is just an example, my friend advised me to have an ibuprofen, which I don't like to take. But anyway, I took one, and I actually had a good night's sleep for a change, and then the pain's 50% gone. And I said to her this morning, wow, why did I allow myself to suffer for 2 days when I could have just taken an ibuprofen? And as soon as I said it, I realized, okay, change that. I wasn't suffering, I was just experiencing tremendous amounts of pain that I tried to heal naturally. But eventually I took the pill, and it allowed me to, like I said, it just healed whatever needed to be healed. So yeah, on that note, I will move on from this. I just wanted to bring in to your attention just about this, you know, this wording, and how we can just be mindful of what we're doing, because this is all shadow work, you know, being mindful of our self-talk, our thoughts, and what we're projecting out into our reality field through our body, because everything that we feel, everything that we speak, everything that we do is manifested through our physical body. So obviously that will then be emitted into our field by through the cells. So again, just being aware of that energy. And also on the flip side of that, as we move in, as we try to anchor these higher frequencies, then we can be aware of what is actually available to us as creator beings, and just knowing, you know, anchoring the consciousness of creator beings. So the victim consciousness, the martyr consciousness is, you know, this happens to me. Why does this happen to me? Life happens to me. And so we can override this victim consciousness, this martyr consciousness, which is where most of humanity is stuck in, by just being aware of the fact that life flows through us, and life flows in spite of us, and it just changes the vibration of our energy, so we can help ourselves to step out of the victim energy, and just having accountability to our own healing and taking ownership of our own healing, choosing to step out of powerlessness, helplessness, and the victim and martyr consciousness into courageousness and into creative potential. So if there's one thing for you to take out of this session today, would be to choose to step into courageousness and creative potential. And that will, you know, every time you recognize yourself, like, why does this always happen to me? Because again, as soon as we say in this language, it's like we are, you know, we're projecting this into our reality. but we're lowering our vibration and facilitating that victim energy again. So again, each time you recognize it, we can just revoke so quickly and so easily by just making a new higher frequency statement. So I choose to step into courageousness and create a potential, and allow that to be your affirmation, your daily affirmation. Today I choose to step into courageousness and create a potential. And that will help to, again, to override all of the limiting self-talk. So, yeah, I hope that was helpful. So again, we will be going through processes in each session. And again, I want to try to keep it at 90 minutes to keep them short. But, you know, there are occasions like this, for example, that it might go over to 2 hours, which is why I wrote the kind of 90 minutes to 2 hours. So just to give you the little, yeah, just to talk a little bit about the housekeeping. So moving on from this. So I recommended that you write down your intentions, your visions, you know, goals, desires, what it is that you want to invite into your reality field for 2023, for the coming months, the coming year. Because this year is, and I know that most of you have seen my posts and you've seen the information that I've shared out. So this year is 2023, which is the year 7. So everything in creation has sequences, codes. Everything is made up of primal light and sound. And our birth date, I know I talked about this on the solstice, on the 12/12 session when we did a little bit of soul mapping, and I went a little bit into this. You know, our birth date is a code. And so when we work with numerology, we work with a 9 cycle, 1 being new beginnings, 9 being completion. And so if you're not already into numerology, then I recommend that you have a look into it, because it's really, really interesting. I know most of you are, and you're aware of how the number sequences work, but it's really powerful. So everybody's date of birth has a particular frequency code. So my code is 3, which means my life path is 3. So somebody else might be 1, somebody might be 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. And then we all have a personal year. So what I want to focus on today, if anybody wants any information at any time, just send me a private message and I'll share the link with you. But it's really interesting to get into, and then I can explain it a little bit, and for those that are not already aware of it. But I don't want to go over it because we already went into this in the 12/12 session. But I will actually post that in the Facebook group later, so you can have access to that and get a little bit of background for anybody that didn't join on that one. But we're in a year 7, and so the mathematical sequencing of this year is the 7 code. And the vibration of the 7 code is all about success, wisdom, insight, alchemy, empowerment, leadership, and spiritual awakening, spiritual alchemy. And so I feel very much this year on a collective level that a lot more people are going to wake up. And as a result of this happening collectively on a bigger picture scale, what I also feel we're going to happen is that we're going to experience some more hardships. There's going to be a lot more frequency fences created to block this. Because of course, the people, all of these people who are the shadow forces who are doing all of this mind control and, you know, what's going on now, they're really aware of the mathematical coding and sequencing and numerology and the primal light and sound. They're aware of all of the ascension processes that are taking place. What they're trying to do now with the sun radiation management, they're trying to block frequency accretion by geoengineering and placing things around the sun to block this frequency accretion, because they're really aware of the, you know, the collective level of what's happening right now. So yeah, it's really interesting to have that knowledge and understanding, and to get, you know, an idea of like what's going on a collective scale, so that we can bypass all of this ourselves, and just focus on what we want to achieve and what we want to do to help humanity to achieve it, and how we can do it brick by brick by starting with ourselves. So the 7 mathematical sequencing code. So I know there's a few people have sent some messages in the chat, but I'll look at them after, because otherwise it just it puts me off my flow. But I'll check the chat later. So the mathematical sequencing code of 7 is connected to the antakarana channels. So every soul has a primary antakarana channel that sits at our higher heart. And this connects us to divine source, to our divine creativity, to our divine intuition, divine wisdom. And it's part of the light body structure. And the light body structure is a matrix web of primal light and sound tones. And this is made up of geometry, geomanics, fire letters, number coding. And so this is basically the light body structure. Again, I'll be going more into the mechanics of this through the program, but this session I want it to be more just an informational and a healing, okay, to clear the distortions and to bring everybody back into homeostasis. So this antakarana channel, we have 3 of them all together, and the primary one is at the heart. I know some of you have gone through this in my Akashic training. Primary one sits at the heart that every soul has. We have a secondary antakarana channel. So it's antakarana Sanskrit. It translates as rainbow bridge or consciousness. The secondary antakarana channel sits at the base of the brain between the pituitary and the pineal gland. And it's how we connect and communicate our higher self to lower self communication. It connects our superconsciousness to our conscious thinking mind. So the subconscious is our superconsciousness. The subconscious is also our Akashic record. So everything that we do, feel, speak, experience, it's all recorded within the subconscious, which is our superconscious. And this is basically what is the Akashic record. So everything that we're going to be doing through this program, we're going to be doing everything through the Akashic record, because this is how we clear and manifest and recreate through the Akashic record, through the subconscious. It's so much deeper for healing, clearing. So the secondary antakarana channel is the higher self to lower self communication. And this helps us to connect to our creative gifts, our multidimensional abilities, our psychic powers. And then we have a 3rd antakarana channel, which sits behind the throat, which is connected to the altar major chakra at the back of the neck, which is where you may have, and again, this I'll be talking about this later in another session. So this is where you see, if you watch the movie The Matrix, where Leo was plugged into. So this is how they plug us into the Matrix. So no coincidence that they wrote this, that this movie was created, and they were plugging and unplugging into this back of the head, because this is where they connect to us. So the 3rd antakarana channel, which sits in the throat, this is how we receive our it's our divine expression. Also, it's connected to creativity. Obviously, we express ourselves creatively through our throat as well. And so these channels can become blocked through our own thoughts, internal and external toxins. So internal toxins, our own self-talk, what we're putting in our body. External toxins, what we experience, the wounds, the pains, the environmental toxins, etc., etc. So all of these can become blocked. And we can then limit ourselves as a result of this. We can feel like we're not connected to divine source, or we can feel that we feel disillusioned, or we're not connected to our higher self, or we're not able to express ourselves clearly and articulately and authentically. We're not living in our truth, speaking our truth, all of these kind of things that we can experience when these channels become blocked. So the 7 mathematical sequencing code is the code of the antakarana, okay? And it's basically 3 sevens integrated, and it looks like a swastika. I'll post the symbol in the group later. It looks like a swastika, but this is the original symbol of the higher consciousness, the higher selves that ultimately was stolen and misused for black magic. And we all know when, so I don't need to go into that, but I'll post the link. And this is something that the Hindu people, again, it's a Sanskrit terminology, but it originates from ancient Tibet. So we're going to be anchoring the 7 code in our meditation, so we can activate and clear any distortions within any of these channels, so we can connect to the 0 point field of God source consciousness. And I talk about God source consciousness as the Godhead, the source consciousness, so however you want to choose to call that. We're not linking it into any religion or any other false God programming. It's pure God source consciousness. It's the 0 point reality field. And from this is where we're creating. So we'll be plugging into that through the meditation. What I want to talk about next is, so again, I'm just telling you all this so when we do the meditation, you actually have a greater understanding of what we're actually doing and why we're doing, while we're anchoring in these codes. I also will guide you through in a few minutes to code your own visions and to code your own higher timeline realities. And we're going to be anchoring these codes into the body also. We're going to be anchoring all these codes into our DNA to recode ourselves so that we can collapse these old limiting timeline experiences and recreate from ground up, from this point today with the new higher frequency. So I want to talk about imagination and the correlation to the parallel reality fields, because when we're doing visualizations, what we're actually doing is we're using our imagination, which is basically our superconscious, and we can actually see and create parallel realities, and we can actually tap into 2 reality fields at the same time, because I believe that we're running multiple parallels at the same time. According to my teacher, this body of work that I'm studying at the moment with Kelontic Science, she talks about there are more than 1,700 parallels, our own incarnate selves, 1,700. So I was blown away when I heard this. But of course, that we're experiencing through all the dimensions, and of course we're only aware of the 12 dimensions. But I believe that there are multiple dimensions out there, and I also believe that within each of these 12 dimensions there are multiple dimensions. So we've got multiple parallels at any one time. So based on that, we could map our own future on the timeline that we're on right now. So if you feel that you're experiencing any negativity and you're kind of stuck in this low frequency story, or just, you know, wherever you are at the moment, we can kind of determine how our future reality will look if we continue on this path. So ultimately it's about making choices to change the path, change the direction, and create a new parallel reality field. And this is what we're doing with the timelines. It's basically the same. And we do this by using our imagination, the power of imagination, because our imagination is a parallel and we are activating these parallel realities. And when we can tap into a higher timeline reality field, then we can reprogram, recreate, rewrite, recode everything by just using this higher alternate reality creation via our imagination. So we're actively, when we visualize a future timeline, which I will be guiding you through, and I know that some of you have done this already with me, what we're actually doing is, but the more you do it, the more you're anchoring that into your DNA. But what we're doing when we're visualizing these future reality timelines, we're opening a portal way to a parallel life, to future possibilities, so we can actually facilitate the observer effect, and we can actually then go into that observer and witness the changes that we will experience. And that's why I wanted to create this session today and do this session today, so that we can have a realistic timeline of, by the end of 2023, this is what I want to have achieved. So when we're perpetuating scarcity and we're stuck in survival, or we're in these negative dysfunctional thought patterns or muscular patterns, behavioral patterns, then we can determine where our future reality is going, that we're going to continue to keep ourselves locked inside these dysfunctional loops and limitation. But just imagine if you hopped into a higher parallel reality and you open that portal way, then you're tapping into that higher version of yourself. So we're going to go in the meditation. I'm going to guide you through to tap into one of these realities, so that you can open that portal way. And that's why I requested that it would be good for you to have your pen and paper handy, because you will want to write things down. And I'm going to be guiding you through to tap into the frequency of each of your visualization, so you can anchor this. So we're going to be doing some light body configuration shortly. And so this is basically the soul mapping. Is we're just going to activate a portal way to a future timeline and map our future based on what you've actually written down. If you haven't written anything down as yet, if you missed that post, then I just invite you now to write down your goals, your visions of what you want to achieve by this year, so that when I guide you through the meditation, we're going to be working with that energy. And then through the program, so this session we're going to be visualizing that, we're going to be doing some distortional clearings, and then throughout the next sessions we're going to be working on clearing all of all that needs to be clear, because things will come up for you as we journey and as we go through these sessions. So we will start with the meditation. So I'll just give you all a moment. Just again, if anything came up for you through that little talk, just make a note of anything. Write down anything that came up for you, any other intentions that you may have. Anything that you want to invite into your life. So we'll focus on past stuff in the next session. For this session, I would like to just focus on what we want to create. Because when we get crystal clear on what we're creating and we anchor these frequencies in, we're going to organically start to shed and clear and collapse the old stories that are keeping us limited and stuck in survival and scarcity. I'll give you a minute. I'll just check the messages. So Happy said Mercury retrograde should be banned. I do believe it serves a purpose. I've had some very interesting past things come up this last few days. So I do think it serves its purpose. But yes, it should be banned to stop interfering with technology for sure. We are multidimensional creative being. Yeah, we are all of that. Okay, perfect. So no questions in the chat. So if anybody does have any questions at any time, you can pop them in the chat and I'll pick them up at the end. So now I'm going to guide you into the journey. So get yourself comfortable. Maybe you have some water by your side. And just dropping your awareness down to your heart, closing your eyes down or lowering your gaze. And start by taking some nice deep breaths. Just breathing in light from all around you. And as you exhale, releasing any tension, anything that doesn't belong to you. Just letting go of any energies in your field that you may have picked up that are creating any density. Nice deep breaths, breathing in through the nose. As you breathe in, feel that oxygen through the nasal passages and hitting the base of the brain, filtering up to the crown. And as you exhale, filtering down through the central body current, down through the Sushumna Nadi or the central meridian, sending that prana, that life force energy down through your body into all organs, glands, into the blood, into the bones. And just repeating a few cycles of this breath so we can help to bring ourselves into alpha theta brainwave. So using the power of our breath, bring ourselves into this calm space so we can activate the theta, where we can access the soul consciousness, connecting to the wisdom of the heart, the wisdom of the soul. And as you exhale, just feel your body relaxing. And I recommend that you sit up and don't lay down, because chances are if you're laying down, eventually you may nod off, fall asleep with the frequencies. Because once we start going up into the Akash and we activate that theta, this is when people can go into a lucid state. Just to stay with the journey so that you can activate your own codes and your own frequencies. Just sit up so you're here, you're present. You're in an awakened conscious state, but you're in that theta dream wave. Allow your body to relax, allow your brow to soften, allow the teeth, shoulders to drop, the hips to relax. Feel that connection of your chair or the floor. You feel that ground beneath you. So you're fully connected to the earth, each breath relaxing. Visualizing the sun above you, golden plasma light frequencies. And as you breathe in, invite these plasma frequencies in through the crown of your head. And as you exhale, send that plasma light down through every cell, to the tips of the fingers, the tip of the nose, tips of the toes, into every part of your body. So using the science of your breath, breathing in that plasma light and exhaling that energy all the way into your body, deep into the blood and the bones. So you start to feel that healing light. And then bringing your awareness to your heart. Visualizing a ball of light at your heart, and connecting to your own color frequency. So what color is that ball of light today? What is the frequency? So Color is frequency, sound is frequency, letters, codes, geometry, plasma, liquid gold, liquid light, it's all frequency. So what is the color of your heart today? And as you breathe in, just feel that color frequency expanding across your chest. And as you exhale, pulse that ball of light out in front of you and behind you until it becomes a huge ball of light surrounding the whole of your body. So what we're doing here is we're activating the heart torus, heart toroidal field, activating our God bubble, our soul bubble. So we're connecting to the core essence, core frequency. So this is the frequency pre all of the karma and limitations. So just feel yourself surrounded by this frequency, filling up the whole of your room. Allow yourself to bask in this frequency just for a moment. How does this feel to you? What sensations? Maybe you see images. Maybe it's activating more colors, more frequency. And then bring your awareness back to the heart. And from the heart, again, working with your own color frequency, send a grounding cord of your own color frequency down through your lower chakras. So from the heart, we're sending that cord all the way down. And as it works down, it's healing and opening and activating the lower chakras. So that heart frequency, that love frequency, that 0 point energy is working its way through all the lower chakras, down the legs, out through the soles of your feet, and it comes together through the Earth Star 2 meters below your feet. The Earth Star that connects us to the inner world, the inner Earth, to Gaia, and send that grounding cord all the way down through the layers and levels of the underground rivers and lakes, through the mineral kingdom, down into the core of the inner Earth, and connecting to the crystalline grid. And today, let's connect to the crystalline grid of ancient Lemuria, 7th dimensional frequencies of Lemuria, where I believe most of us healers had lifetimes before Atlantis, tapping into this beautiful frequency, this pure love, 0 point energy, and anchoring, wrapping the cord around a beautiful chunk of Lemurian quartz, which looks a little bit similar to clear quartz, but it's got lots of coding inside it. There's a lot of high frequency coding in the Lemurian quartz. So just tap into that energy. And when you feel anchored to the inner earth, just invite that energy, the frequencies of Lemuria, all of these beautiful high coded frequencies, organic frequencies, back up through your cord, up into your heart. And when you've anchored that energy into your heart, send a grounding cord upwards from the heart through the higher chakras, so we can create a clear channel of heart consciousness up through the higher realms, through the heart, throat, third eye, crown, healing, balancing, reactivating, and sending that pure frequency up through the higher chakras, up through the causal just above your head, up and into the soul star, which connects us to our Lemurian lifetimes. We will do some past life work later in the program. Sending all the way up from the soul star to the stellar gateway, and then up and out of the stellar gateway through the solar junction and up beyond the sun, the moon, and the stars. Sending that cord all the way up through the Milky Way galaxy, up above into the Andromeda galaxy, our home galaxy, until you reach the diamond sun, the great spiritual sun, and plugging yourself into source. So you're now plugged into source consciousness, the divine masculine, our power, our courage, that yang energy. And you're now plugged into the Gaia, the divine feminine, that beautiful, soft, nurturing yin energy. And then bringing your awareness back to your heart. Just inviting the frequencies of the sun back down into your heart. And as you come back down to your heart, just connecting again to your frequency God bubble, your soul bubble, your heart torus. And I'd like to invite you to ignite an etheric fire on the inside perimeter of your heart torus, your soul bubble, God bubble. And just setting the intention that this etheric fire will burn through any density, any attachments, any implants, any psychic attacks, any negative energies that you may have picked up in your field. So this will leave this fire in place throughout this healing, throughout this journey, so that the fire can do the work it needs to do as we journey. So if that feels safe for you, then just leave that etheric fire, setting the intention to heal and clear and transmute, to neutralize all implants, cords, attachments, threads, density, intrusions. And I invite you, when you've done that, to ignite the fire on the outside perimeter. And this will serve to protect you from any intrusions. So anything that attempts to enter your shield, your God bubble, your heart torus, will be neutralized. So nothing that you don't allow in can penetrate this shield. So setting that intention that anything of a low frequency vibration, any uninvited or unwelcome intrusions will be neutralized, returned to space dust. So the beauty of working with fire, it neutralizes everything and returns it to dust, to ash, to the earth for transmutation. And now I invite you to come back to your heart, going to access your Akashic record. By now you should be feeling calm, rested in the alpha brainwave. So from your heart, I invite you to send your quantum, part of your quantum self, up through your higher chakras, sending that energy all the way up out of the stellar gateway and up beyond the sun, the moon, and the stars, all the way up through the Milky Way, through Andromeda, and up into that 0 point source consciousness field, where you see perhaps a portal of light or a crystal temple that is inviting you in, that is your Akashic record. And just state your name. I connect directly to my Akashic record, to organic, eternal, living light source consciousness, bypassing all and any synthetic or inorganic source overlay holographs. And this will determine that you're plugging into pure source consciousness. Call in your higher self. Call in your creator consciousness. Again, you can just state, I now connect to my higher self and I connect to my creator consciousness. And I now open and access my Akashic record so that I may receive divine guidance, wisdom, and truth for my highest path and purpose. And so it is. And then just repeating, I now align all of my consciousnesses to work together in unity and harmony, creating a clear channel of communication. I align my conscious thinking mind, my unconscious mind, my subconscious, superconscious mind, and my higher conscious. All of my consciousnesses are now aligned and working together in harmony. And so it is. This affirms that all of your consciousnesses are working together for your highest good. You're working for your highest path and purpose. Just affirming to yourself, I am safe. I am lovingly supported by the divine. I am the divine. I am a pure channel of source consciousness. I live, teach, and work from my fifth dimensional heart. I am lovingly supported and held at all times within the original, eternal, true source creation field. And I hear the call of my sacred, original, divine self leading me home. I am clear in mind and vision as the knowing of my original, eternal God self flows through me at all times. I now create a higher timeline reality field, and I anchor these frequencies into all systems of my body to create a new higher timeline reality. And so it is done. So I invite you to just bring your attention to your manifestation, your goal, your intention. And I would like you to tap into the frequency of this intention, this goal. Whatever it is that you wish to invite in and anchor in 2023 for success. And the code, it could be a color frequency. It could be a letter, a fire letter, a symbol, sacred geometry, a number code. So what code, what frequency? And I invite you to write this down next to your goal manifestation, your intention, so that you can work with this going forward. So we will anchor it today, but it may need a little bit more anchoring. So good to write it down. And then just stating, higher self, creator consciousness, show me what I need to know right now. Show me what is available to me in this moment to assist me on my soul path. Highlighting my consciousness. How, what I need to do to activate and recreate this higher timeline reality that I wish to create for success in 2023. You may receive directly information, images, words, codes, guidance. If anything comes through, just write it down. Now I invite you to ask your higher self, your creator consciousness, highest aspects of you, to show you an image of who you are before you created any 3D karma, before you created or experienced any pains and wounding, the 0 point you, the unlimited you. This higher being, maybe an Atlantean lifetime or the Mauryan lifetime. Ask to be shown your higher avatar you. Who are you? Where are you? What is around you? What do you see? as you look around, as you see this image of your higher avatar self. Can you tap into that 0 point energy of nothingness, just pure consciousness, no emotions, just nothingness, just this pure light frequency. Which lifetime are you experiencing right now? And how does your avatar appear to you? He or she? What is the image that you see of this higher frequency being that experience lifetimes in other galaxies, maybe even other universes? What is your magic power? Write down anything that comes to you. What is your superpower in this lifetime, this avatar? And what is your mission as this avatar? Does your avatar have a name? And I invite you to communicate anything that you feel you need to communicate right now with your avatar. Maybe ask, what divine message do you have for me that will help me on my path, that will help me anchor my mission into my current 3D reality? And if you receive a message or an image or any divine communication from your avatar, I invite you to give it a specific frequency code so you can continue working with this code going forward. You may need to write it down. It may be a color: gold, platinum, silver, diamond, pearl. Maybe another letter sequence, a number, sacred geometry, shape, another being. However that may appear to you in your mind's eye, in your imagination. And then finally, if there were any further guidance, any wisdom that your avatar self would like to share with your human, so that you can return to your human with this wisdom and utilize it to assist you on your path. Just invite that in now and write down whatever comes through for you. And if you feel really aligned with this, now you can ask your avatar self to show you, teach you how to overcome any blocks or limitations going forward. Show you, teach you how to overcome, what you can do so that you may fully embody your mission, your potential, your purpose into your current 3D reality. Again, you may receive directly information, or you may receive this information later when you're relaxed, not thinking about anything. You may receive this information in the astral plane when you're sleeping. Just trust you will be gifted and shown how to move forward, have a clear vision. And finally, I invite you to visualize in your imagination a higher parallel life. And this is a lifetime that's running right now, that is available to you right now. All you need to do is vibrate on the same frequency. So visualize this higher parallel timeline in your imagination. How do you want this timeline to be? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? And how can you bring this mission into this reality? See yourself living, fully embodied, living your transformation, living your best life, abundant in whichever way you invite this abundance. Visualize yourself in harmony, joyful, laughing, smiling, clear. How does your day look? How would a working day to you look in this higher timeline reality? Who is your ideal partner, client, friend, your soul tribe. See all of it. Your daily working life, your free time. Just create this little movie in your imagination. And if this movie had a frequency, what would that frequency be? This movie does have a frequency. So what is the frequency of your movie, your imagination, this parallel lifetime that is available to you now, waiting for you, just waiting for you to bring yourself into homeostasis so that you can activate it. And if you want to go a little bit deeper as a healer, think of your ideal client and think of these amazing results that you actualize for your clients. See all of your clients happy and fulfilled. See their lives change, and the lives of their loved ones. Just see this collective vision. Because this is the reality that is available to you. And so hopefully now you've written down your frequencies, your codes. So if you've finished, if there's anything else, I'll just give you one more minute to write down anything else that may come to you, any visions, any messages, any guidance. And then we'll anchor these codes into our DNA. Okay, and now I invite you to just open your hands, your palms. And in the center of your palms, I invite you to activate your fire seed atom. So that just means that you're creating and activating a ball of light in the palms. So you're opening your palm chakras. And activate this ball of fire light. So it's kind of like a liquid, a little bit like a dry liquid gold, maybe amber, bronze, however that may appear to you right now. And then just bring your awareness to your heart. And just tapping again into that frequency of your heart, pure love, 0 point love frequency. And I invite you to, from your heart, send energy down the arms into your hands. So you're sending this high vibrational, 5th vibrational heart frequency. This pure love, 0-point energy, your soul core essence. It's energy into your palms. And you might feel, as you ignite this fire seed atom, you might feel already the energy in your palms. And then I invite you to place one palm on the back of your head, behind your third eye, and one palm on the front of your third eye, on the brow. So we're working with the master DNA strand, which is in between the pituitary and the pineal. And in your mind's eye, just feel and set the intention to send this fire seed atom, this heart consciousness frequency, this soul energy into the master strand of the DNA. And the master strand will send that, the master strand will do the necessary work to send that energy through the rest of the body into all the multiple strands of our DNA. So most of us have 12 strands of DNA. Some of us only have 3 strands activated. Some of us might have 24 strands, 48 strands, but most of us have 12 strands. So just send that high frequency through the master gland into the DNA and just allow that fire seed atom and that frequency to do what it needs to do. And while you're sending that energy into the master gland, I invite you to bring the code, the 7 code, to the third eye. So we're bringing in the 7 code, the frequency of success, wisdom, insight, inner awareness, spiritual alchemy, inner alchemy, leadership, courage. And imagine that 7 code moving into your master gland, into the body. And if you find your arms start to ache, then you can release the hands and just do this in a visualization. But I do find personally that feeling the energy of the palms, from my palms, really helps me to anchor the frequencies in reconfiguring and restructuring the DNA. So do whatever feels right for you. You can just do it all by visualization only without using the palms. And then I invite you to just tune into all of the frequency coding that you wrote down. The frequency of your higher timeline, the frequency of the wisdom and guidance from your avatar self. All of these codes, these frequencies, just invite them in one by one, placing them in the center of the brain between the pituitary and the pineal into the master DNA strand. The frequency codes of your vision, your goal, your intentions, and the frequency code of your parallel higher timeline reality field. And see, feel, sense, intend these codes into the master strand DNA. Using the power of your breath, each breath invite the coding, and each out breath send the energy through the master strand down through the body into all of the DNA body, that's into the cellular structure, into each cell of the body. So this will help to reconfigure the DNA to transform any imprints or implant distortions. So what we're doing is we're anchoring the higher timeline reality fields, our codes in, to reconfigure any genetic mutation caused by any intrusions or bloodline inheritances. So I'll give you a few moments in silence just to send those frequency codes into the body, into the cells, through the master strand DNA. You may feel energy through the body. You may feel sensations. You may receive more information as the DNA reconfigures. So everything that's ready to be released today will be released. Everything you're ready to receive, you've opened the portal way to allow it in. When you feel that you've anchored the frequencies in, relaxing your hands. Just tuning into any vibrations that you may be feeling. And that little technique, powerful, but very simple technique, working with the fire seed atom, working with our frequency codes, working with the 7 code, the code of success. However that success may look to you, it may simply be to heal. It may simply be to find love or to deepen love. I'm just repeating, I have now chosen to recreate a higher timeline. And within this timeline is only harmony, balance, growth, joy, and pure potential. Nothing stands in my way of achieving my soul purpose. I will overcome, I overcome all, so I may actualize this higher timeline reality field that is available to me now. And you may already feel like you're ready to allow it in, or you may not be quite there yet. But if you are, ready to allow it in, just state, I allow this in now. If you're not ready, then just state, I am open to allow this into my life in right divine timing. I am my own inner spiritual authority. I choose my life. And I invite you to just start to gently, with your right hand, your left palm open to receive, and your right fingertips just tapping gently on your thymus gland, just above your heart in the center of your chest. Let's just start to tap in some statements, some high vibrational energetic statements. And I'd like to finish by just tapping these frequencies in. So repeating, if you repeat out loud, it's better. My pains have given me the wings I need to self-liberate and fly. My pains have given me the wings I need to self-liberate and fly. I am ready to fly. My pains have activated my superpowers and the gifts that are available to me. My pains have activated my superpowers and the magical gifts that are available to me. I activate my superpowers and my magical gifts. I am open to the belief that I am good enough and that I am able to fully support myself in my chosen role. I am open to the belief that I am good enough and that I am able to fully support myself in my chosen role. I am good enough. I am good enough. I support myself in all that I do because I am good enough to make it as I am. I am good enough to make it as I am. I love and accept myself as I am. I trust that all is perfectly imperfect. I trust that all is meant to be as it is. I love the good, the bad, the dark, the light, the positive, the negative. All is within me and is part of me. And I love and accept myself as I am. A perfectly imperfect, beautiful master being. I trust that all is meant to be as is. I am a creator being, and I am the living expression of eternal light, love, truth, and wisdom. I carry the divine will of this expression through all of my moments, allowing this divine expression to touch others through me. I am the expression of eternal light, love, truth, wisdom, power. I succeed in all that I do. I allow this divine expression to work through me, touching others, all who are open to this divine light. I am whole now. I am peace now. I am wisdom now. I am divine love now. That we co-create together as one in harmony each day, shining pure illumined essence, forever light into the collective field. I return home to myself. As it is spoken, so it is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just breathe in the frequency, sending it into the DNA, in that frequency, those powerful statements, placing your palms over your thymus gland, anchoring the frequency of those energetic statements into your heart. And if there are any final intentions that you wish to set, anything further you feel that you want to anchor into your reality field, just do that now before we come back slowly. And I will guide you back slowly. And first, just unplug yourself from source, inviting that cord back down into your heart. Bringing your quantum self back down, all the way back down through, from the diamond sun, down through the Milky Way, down through the stellar gateway, into the body, into the heart. So bringing all parts of you and your cord back down to connect to your heart. And then just unplugging yourself from the inner earth, just bringing that grounding cord up through the Lemurian crystalline grid, back up through the body, all the way back up into your heart. And then you can either choose to leave your toroidal shield, your heart torus, your God bubble, your soul bubble. If you feel aligned to, you can leave it in place with the fire burning on the inside and the outside. This will dissipate in its own time when it's ready. Maybe minutes, hours, days. Just set the intention for it to continue working until there is no longer need for it to work, and it will dissipate in its own time. Or if you feel, you can start to draw it back to you, if you choose not to leave it out of you, but you're fully protected with the fire on the outside. So however it feels aligned for you right now. Bring your awareness back to your heart, thanking your higher self, your avatar self, your creator consciousness, and honoring yourself for being here, being part of this journey. And honor that you know more than you think you know, and trust that you know more than you give yourself credit for. All of this we have access to. It's ours. It's already encoded into our encryption. We each have our own individual encryption that is made up of primal light and sound based on our previous experiences, everything that's happened to us in multiple lifetimes, the good and the bad. It's part of our encryption. So we're full of wisdom. We just acknowledge that wisdom and allow it in. And then through the next session, we'll work, you should already start to be, over the next days, you'll start to release things through this powerful body of work. So we're already setting in motion, because we've worked today on the DNA, the heart, plugging into source, plugging into Gaia, connecting to the divine masculine and feminine to bring harmony and balance. So in the next session, we'll build more on this and work to clear any miasms, any karmas, anything that's holding you back, so that you can anchor into your reality and be the embodiment of that which you choose to do in this lifetime. So just connecting to the chair beneath you, the ground beneath you. Start by taking some nice deep breaths and connecting into your breath. Start to feel your body beneath you. Maybe squeezing your arms, squeezing your legs. Maybe rubbing the palms together. Placing the palms over the eyes. Allowing that light back in slowly. And I'll just finish by saying, as we've anchored a little bit and have created some, or we've opened the portalway to the higher timeline reality, and we've anchored in these frequency codes. Going forward over the next days or couple of weeks, I invite you, if you don't already, to have a plan. Have some kind of, it's always good to have goals and have a plan, whether it's a weekly plan, a monthly plan, but have a plan and take things step by step and make small steps so that you can build upon them. Because the reason that a lot of people sabotage, firstly, because they don't feel safe to allow in what they think they want. But secondly, because they overwhelm themselves, so they can overwhelm the nervous system with burden. So know your limits based on your body, based on where you're at and what you're experiencing, whether you're experiencing hormone issues, whether you're experiencing, all the shadow stuff's coming up for you, whether you're going through a difficult time. Just be aware of your limits and be gentle with yourself and accept yourself. And it's really nice to come back to that point of tapping on the chest, on the thymus, and just tapping in. I love and accept myself as I am. I love and accept myself as I am. I love and accept myself as I am. Because ultimately we have to, it's all about when we can accept ourselves, we stop giving ourselves a hard time and we stop burdening and pressuring ourselves. Because ultimately when we are burdening, we're just throwing the nervous system out of balance, which will set you back. And again, that's why a lot of people throw the towel in and they slip back into regular jobs and safety, and which unfortunately is doing a huge disservice to yourself and to your community, because the world needs us, the world needs you, the world needs your gifts, your magic. So on that note, it's 6:30, so at 6:30 here, so I'm guessing that must be 11:30 in the UK to 12:30 in Spain and 1:30 in Greece. Thank you so much for everybody who joined live. I really hope you've enjoyed this first session, and I hope all that are watching on the replay later enjoy too. And what I would like to finish by saying, thank you, Andrea. Andrea just said that's been incredible. Thank you. Yeah, please write your comments, your experiences in the group if you don't mind sharing, because I love to, thank you, Nez. Nez said she learned a lot. Yeah, I really love to see everybody's experiences. Javi said that was an intense journey. Thank you, Javi. Yeah, please write your experiences or your little comments, feedback in the group, because it's amazing for people to keep track, and it inspires people to know that anybody who's going through a hard time to see that they can experience so much by doing you know, these little journeys. And again, I will post the recording of this in the group. I felt so contently suspended in white light. Beautiful. Yeah, I will post it up in the group, and so you can watch it as many times as you want. Even if you just do the journey was about 45 minutes altogether. But yeah, I recommend maybe to do it again, maybe in a week or so, even if you just did it once a week, because it will really help to anchor those frequency codes in and really create that timeline. And also, as you connect to your avatar self, you may receive different information and guidance each time. So thank you so much, everybody. And again, just drop me a thumbs up or something, so I know that you're all back from the journey, that I know that you're all okay. And yeah, just so that I don't need to send anybody around to your house to bring you back down from the quantum field. Thank you, Emma. Yeah, Aaron, good. JLT, good. Thumbs up. Yeah, yeah, even if it's just a thumbs up, just so I know that you're all back from the journey. I know some of you might have fallen asleep as well. Marie, thank you, Marie. Beautiful. Okay, great. Nikki, love heart. Nez, got your messages. Beautiful. Thanks, everybody. Okay, perfect. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Please take it easy, because there will for sure be some releases. Drink plenty of water, get out in nature, stay grounded. And yeah, again, if anybody experiences any intense things and they need any support, just drop me a private message. But yeah, just feel free to share anything in the group. Thank you, lovelies. It will be private from today, because I have switched it to private. I'm just waiting. Facebook said it will be private at 11 o'clock my time, 11 p.m. this evening. So as from this evening, it's private. Thanks, everybody. Lots of love to you.